Okay, so in one of his recent videos, Pixel Dan on his YouTube channel showed a newly acquired Clam figure which had originated from Malaysia and which appeared to have these unsightly green spots that were turning up all over the plastic on the figure's body. He said that this was dubbed by the community as virus spots, and he also said that this was a common issue with He-Man and the Masters of the Universe figures that were made in Malaysia back in the 1980s. Naturally, I then rushed to grab hold of my Clam figure to check to see if he was okay. Alright, to see if he was infected. Clamp, are you okay? Are you alright? You're perfectly fine. Hey guys, Ken here for the Retro Toy Escapades channel in Malaysia. On the channel today, I wanted to talk about an issue that apparently affects the plastic for Masters of the Universe action figures from the 1980s. Something like probably about 2 weeks ago, I started to get a whole bunch of messages, comments, DMs through the channel and on Instagram. People are asking me if it's true that the vintage He-Man figures that were made in Malaysia back in the 1980s all have this issue with the plastic that causes spots on the plastic to appear after a period of a few years. Now, these spots in question are typically green or orange in color and kind of makes it look like the figure has been infected with some allergy or chicken pox or something like that. Let me give you an example. Now, there are some listings online that have these particular figures up for sale. I like this one that takes a very positive approach to it and has it listed as a vintage variant virus He-Man figure. So if you were to take a closer look at the figure's legs, you can see tiny spots appearing in the plastic. Right there. There's tiny spots appearing on the figure's legs that give it the appearance of maybe being a viral infection. And then there's another listing here of a carded 1981 He-Man figure where you can see something really happening all over the figure's body. And holy shit, this is like horror He-Man. Like an alien parasite is taking over his entire body. These listings are fairly old though, they've been around for a while. But I did wonder though where all of the fresh and new questions from followers were coming from. Alright, why suddenly everybody talking about the virus spots on He-Man figures from Malaysia? And then somebody mentioned that Pixel Dan just put out a video where he talked about it and he specifically highlighted Malaysia as the leading contributor to this. There was even someone that left a message and he was like, "Ha ha! Malaysia has the virus figures! Ha ha!" Yeah, okay, alright. Now, there's also a book called The Masters of the Universe Vintage Toys Reference Guide by the author Zach Papadelias. Inside the book, there's a section on variant figures for He-Man, the original 1981 He-Man, and there's a specific paragraph that talks about Malaysia, the Malaysian He-Man figures, and it's mentioned there in print that the He-Man figures from the 1980s that were made in Malaysia have plastic qualities that tend to break down and which eventually causes spots that people refer to as the virus, okay? That people refer to as the virus He-Man. So that is actually in print in this particular book. Now, seeing as how I'm from Malaysia and I have a YouTube channel that focuses on vintage toys, and I cover a lot of Masters of the Universe stuff here, naturally, I was going to have to address this, talk about it and offer my viewpoint. Now, I'm not here to dispute these claims or to dismiss anybody's personal experiences in owning these particular figures. I'm just going to talk about my own personal experience in owning these characters, action figures of these characters that were made in Malaysia that have been with me for all these years. All right, I'm just going to be sharing my own personal experiences with these figures and to bring them out here on the channel. Now, since Clam was the main focus of Pixel Dan's latest video in which he touched upon the virus spots on the plastic of He-Man and Masters of the Universe figures that are commonly from Malaysia, as he put it. So I decided to take a close-up look at him here and also give you a really good look at the plastic on this figure. All right, as you can see, this thing is over 35 years old now. It looks practically immaculate. And over in the back here is the stamp on his armor. Where I hope that the camera is picking this up. We can see that it says Malaysia. That's right. This guy is proudly made in Malaysia. Let me just get his armor off here so you can get a full good look at the champ's ripping body. As you can see, the plastic is fantastic. All right, I can't believe it's actually held up this long. It looks practically new. And I got this in 2018 from a seller in the United States. I think that he pretty much had this since childhood. So either way, this thing's been out there in the world for 35 years. And it's a product that's made in Malaysia. It's one of the Malaysian He-Man and the Masters of the Universe figures. As you can see, there's no sign of the virus spots anywhere on this figure, which proves that not all of the figures were affected. I don't know how common this thing might have been, but it definitely is not something that affects the majority of the Malaysian-made figures out there. And this figure is proof of that. Also, the power punch function still works great. Take that, you non-believing fool! I also have the original packaging card for Clam Champ, and over at the bottom here you get to see the manufacturer's details, and it states here that this is made in Malaysia. In fact, in 1986, all right, Mattel 1986, man, that was a long time ago. What's also interesting about the card back here is the price tags here, as you can see. Whichever this department store is, the champ was once being sold for $4.99, all right, $4.99 USD. Man, that's cheap, okay, by today's standards. And there's another price tag here showing that it might have been discounted to $320. Next, I wanted to bring up the original 1981 He-Man figure for a close-up look, since he's part of the conversation of most of the virus-affected figures out there. And you know what? This figure, I've had him in hand since 2013, going on about 9 years now already. And prior to that, I got this from a local contact, a friend of mine, and he got it from another seller that I think pretty much had it since childhood as well, So yeah, this thing's been around since 1981. It's a 41-year-old figure that looks absolutely fantastic to me. All right, this is the made in Malaysia He-Man figure. If I were to put a microscopic lens on this thing, I do see something like a spot here, perhaps, that maybe could be something along the lines of the deterioration in the plastic that people are talking about, or maybe I'm just being paranoid. Okay, look, if you're talking about these particular spots, there's also one here on the back. Okay, if you're saying that these spots here, these tiny little spots here, are actually a problem, they're not to me. Okay, I don't see anything near the level of insane plastic warping and breaking down that I've seen in some of the other pictures. And to me, pretty much this figure is just about perfect. Okay, it's 41 years old. All right, I can't expect it to look anything better than this. Over in the back here, let me just get the clasps off on the armor, and inside here you can see the Made in Malaysia stamp. I hope that the camera can pick this up. It's pretty faint, but yeah, it's there. A 1981 Malaysian original. The other thing about the Made in Malaysia He-Man figures that I think doesn't get pointed out enough probably is the fact that these come with the hard hits. All right, I've got him alongside the 1981 He-Man that's made in Taiwan. These are two of the most prominently available figures out there in the market. As you can see, the one that's made in Malaysia has the hard hit. All right, okay, it's solid. The one that's made in Taiwan, it's squeezable. It's the kind of face that you could punch in. All right, yeah. So the Made in Malaysia figures, especially in that way, I think that they're probably one of the only few figures in the market. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. They're one of the few figures in the market that have the hard-headed He-Mans. So this makes them infinitely more valuable. Now, I suppose this video is pretty important for me to do, mainly because if I think that the professional and official communication that's going on out there is that the plastic that's used on the Malaysian-made He-Man and Masters of the Universe figures from the 80s, the plastic is of an inferior quality. I think that what I've shown you in the video here is that it's not, all right? It's of a very high quality, and probably the problems that were there affected a very small production batch, or maybe it was limited to only just a couple of figures, but not the entire range of figures that was in the whole collection. All right, And let's bring out a few more of these guys, all right? Like Whaaat. Okay, Whaaat's made an appearance before on the channel, and this is the made in Malaysia version. A very solid figure, and the plastic on this guy is still pristine, all right? You don't see anything breaking down here. And also the Good King Randor is a Malaysian-made original. Randor's been reviewed here on the channel prior to this, so I've brought him out and showed him to you guys. You know, this guy is a really high quality, solidly built figure, all right? No plastic warping. And also, we've got this one guy here, all right? The malicious Modulok. I've been meaning to bring Modulok onto the page for quite some time now. The vast majority of all the Modulok figures in the market have been produced right here in Malaysia, and this is a really amazing piece, okay? This guy is great. I hope that he gets re-released as part of the Origins range of figures soon, and I'm also planning to do a review of the vintage figure right here. What do you think about that, Modulok? Aye aye, Captain! Okay guys, so that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed putting it together for you. Let me know what you thought of it in the comment section. I want to hear from you guys. And once again, thank you for joining me. All right, I really appreciate you guys turning up all the time. I'll catch all of you again real soon with more content. Thank you.